Hi, I'm Sarah. Welcome to the Daily English Show. The video I'm going to talk about today is the famous clip of Miss South Carolina. This video clip is very funny. Well, I think it is. And millions of other people seem to find it entertaining too. But I think some English students might not understand why it's funny, so I thought I'd explain it. She was asked this question: recent polls have shown a fifth of Americans can't locate the US on a world map. Why do you think this is? The first funny thing she said was US Americans. There's no such thing as US Americans because all Americans come from the US. You can say things like Canadian Americans, like Jim Carrey, who has dual citizenship, or African Americans, people who were born in America but whose ancestors come from Africa. But US Americans, no, you can't say that. Then she says the reason why some people can't locate the US on a world map is because they don't have maps, which is grammatically correct, but it's a silly answer, so it's funny too. Then she says our education like such as in South Africa, which doesn't make sense because American education has nothing to do with South Africa. Also, she says like such as, which mean the same thing, so you don't need to use both of them together. But you can if you want, so it's not such a huge mistake. But she ends a sentence with such as, which is very strange. You should use such as before an example. She also says the Iraq, which is strange. You don't use the before Iraq. You shouldn't use the in front of most countries actually, but you can in front of some. For example, the Netherlands, the Philippines, the Dominican Republic, the United States. She also says the Asian countries, which is odd in this context. She should say America should help Iraq and Asian countries. But then that would still be funny because it doesn't have anything to do with the question. It's also funny how she started randomly talking about Iraq and South Africa. Iraq is in the news a lot at the moment, so maybe that country just popped into her head. But South Africa, what's that got to do with anything? And overall, I think the funniest part is that with her voice and the way she's standing and her big smile at the end, she looks like she's really confident and she's making perfect sense, but she isn't. I think she might have the potential to be the next Paris Hilton. Kia ora, in Stick News today, David Beckham has hurt his knee.
David Beckham is an English soccer player. Since July this year, he's been playing for an American team called Los Angeles Galaxy. His team played a game yesterday, and in the 30th minute, Beckham hurt his knee. CNN reported he suffered a sprained medial collateral ligament in his right knee, which will sideline him for 6 weeks.
And that was Stick News for Thursday, the 30th of August. Kia ora. Speaking of maps, do you think you could name all the countries in the world on a map? How many are there? How many do you think you could point out on a map? That's all. Fair enough. Hell no, there are hundreds of countries in the world. I don't know, hang on, I'll check. It says here there are 244 countries, but it sounds confusing, depends what you include in the list. Anyway, a few hundred. Maybe 20 or 30. Yeah, but who cares? If I want to know where something is, I'll just look it up. I don't need to have all that information in my head. That's what I learnt in school anyway. It's more important to know how to look things up than to remember facts.
Which is correct? A. Some US Americans don't have maps. B. Some Americans don't have maps. B. A. Taxes pay for things such as education. B. education in the Iraq, such as A. Canada isn't in Asia. B. The Canada isn't in the Asia. A. US should help the South Africa. B. The US should help South Africa. B. Asian countries should help Miss South Carolina. B. The Asian countries should help the Miss South Carolina. A.
And that was the Daily English Show. See you tomorrow. Bye.